Rebecca here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday and we are working with my stash kit that I put together for October 2020. It has Chamel's Field Trip and Paige Evans' Truly Grateful in it. I am also working with Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. And I showed you that sketch up there. So I have actually cut my pictures into circles, which is something new. Alright, so right there I was going to use the orange paper and I cut it down and I was going to mat it with this really pretty gray striped diagonal paper, and that just was not working for me. That orange was not white. Like, the flip side of it is white. I don't even know. So anyway, I decided to go with the white. Since there is a lot of mixed media that's going to go on this page, I decided that we'll just go with the white, and I'm going to go ahead and put that gesso all over that fun white paper. I went ahead and punched out, it calls for one picture, but I didn't necessarily, I have a 2-inch punch and then I have a 4-inch circle cutter. I need like a 3-inch circle punch is what I really need. So right there I just decided to go ahead and cut two 2-inch circles. One is of my mom and one is of my sister, and it was the day that we were moving our parents into their brand new home. For the last time, we told them they're no longer allowed to move. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my Martha Stewart circle cutter there. And I'm just trying to measure how long that's going to be so that I can make sure to make this circle, you know, big enough and centered around these circles. So it takes me just a second, and I go ahead and slide it down, make one full pass around, and there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and use those two Distress inks. I don't remember what they are. One is yellow and one is orange, and as you've seen there, it's very thin paper that I'm using, so good thing for the gesso, because that would have tore when I came back up. So I'm just going to go ahead and I did 2 stripes right down from where my circle picture is going to go, see? And then I sprayed some water on it, and you can see where I put the gesso and you can see where the gesso is not. And I'm okay with that because most of it, you know, it's going to be flat in an album, and I'm totally fine with that. So I went ahead and used my fingers to mix the two colors together. I grabbed my paintbrush, get some splats all over the place, and it's just going to be this strip right here. I do come in with something that I have seen Missy Witten do with pigment powders, and I'm going to grab a gold pigment powder right here. And I'm like, what am I going to scoop this out with? So I do just go ahead and grab my craft knife, my X-Acto knife, and I just stick that in there because the Distress inks aren't shimmery, obviously. You guys know that. So I threw the powder in there because it is super shimmery, and it was like a goldy orangey color, so it was working. At least in my opinion, it was working. And I just get that all mixed in with the brush and stuff, and I run this around, and I just keep tilting the paper left and right and up and down and all over the place just to get it to run. It is dry now, obviously. I did take a break, let it dry off. I came in with my heat gun and everything, and finally just took a break. So I'm going to go ahead and put a lot of adhesive on the back of my very thin paper. And I just want to make sure that I have it going the same way that the circle is going to go, since I did cut it from that. And I'm just going to go ahead and get that stuck right down. I did wrinkle it, but it's okay. I am able to pull it up just a smidge, just enough to get that crease out of it. I'm going to go ahead, and why I do this part, I don't know, because, I mean, there was adhesive there, so I didn't want it to stick. But I just reach right under my desk, so as you can see, and I have a whole bunch of scrap papers there. I just grab this red cardstock scrap, and I'm just going to place that right over the back, see? So I don't know why I actually adhered, you know, taped up that circle, but whatevs. I'm going to come in and this is not very sticky washi tape. It's more of a paper tape, so over time it falls off. So I just go ahead and use some adhesive just to make sure that it doesn't fall off, because that has happened and it's like stuck together and it's bad in the layout. So right here I do want to go ahead and pop out my picture on some foam tape, and I just grab a full sheet and I just cut right around it. I do save all that, and I do actually use every little strip that I did not use on that circle. I get that adhered nicely to my craft foam, or the craft foam to the pitcher, and I take some dry adhesive, and because there's gesso and mixed media, I go ahead and use some liquid. The dry tape runner will hold it in place ever so slightly while I'm doing all this, but because there's gesso, it doesn't stick long term, if that makes sense. So I always put wet adhesive as well, because once that dries and bonds, it's fine. Now right here I am going to go ahead and I use pretty much every flower rub-on that I have. I find that I have rub-ons, I just do not use them like I should. So because the sketch called for like flower clusters and everything all around the circle, which is pretty much the only part that does get embellished based on the sketch, I decided let's go for broke, and we're just gonna really get it in there. So I do go ahead and like trim some of them up, and I get some stuck onto the pitcher and onto these popped up circle piece, but also underneath in the top right and bottom left of the circle. I did take some of those Paige Evans trees and stuck them in kind of like leaves, I guess you could say, in fun different colors. Just, you know, a happy little how do you do. I decided, have you noticed on these layouts, I've been flipping back and forth between using the Chamel Field Trip and the Paige Evans Truly Grateful collections, because I don't have any 12 by 12 sheets of those. I ordered these off of PG Cheap, and they were the 6 by 8 pads. Now, the Paige Evans pads is just the pattern paper smaller. The Chamel are the journaling pads, and I find personally, I don't do enough journaling on my layouts. Sometimes I don't write anything, and I just let the picture tell the story, because I scrap for me, I don't scrap for future generations, and I know that sounds horrible, but I can't. I have one child who's a son. I cannot imagine him showing his grandkids. So, I mean, I feel like when I die, they'll just, be burned or thrown away, which I know is sad, but I scrap because I like to scrapbook. So, if I don't have journaling on it, most of what I scrap are things that are my family, my dogs. I don't scrap random pictures of things. My mom taught me that a long time ago. If you want to take a picture of a landmark, put a person in front of it. Eventually down the road, you won't want to keep 20 pictures of a building, but if they have a person in front of it, your child, your parent, someone, you'll keep that because the person that is in the picture. Kind of filtered over into my scrapbooking. I don't scrapbook a lot of inanimate things, and if I do, it's like the second picture on the page, so that there's a person somewhere on the page as well. I know that's silly. I'm still going to town on rub-ons here, which is why I just jabbered on. I'm gonna take a little drink, because after that, woo, my throat is dry. There's not too much more that I do to this layout after I get all this rub-on on there and just a couple more embellishments. My title is Think Happy, because at this point everyone was wore out, angry, mad, 2 days of moving someone, and my mom is the type of person that's just like, oh, we're moving today, I know I planned this, but nothing's packed. So, yeah. So anyway, everybody's just like, oh my God, So anyway, I just, snapped them, so that's why I thought it'd be funny to put Think Happy, and I put them back to back, not facing each other. I know that's kind of funny placement as well, but to me, back to back, because they're, if you can see a close-up of my mom's face, she's making a disgusted face at me, like, stop taking pictures. So anyway, here, I just go ahead, I'm done with the rub-ons. I do try to find some of the die cuts that are in the collection that I have, and I'm just sticking some more fun little things off the sticker sheets and such on there. I do grab some of these little puffy guys and get them stuck on there as well, just a couple hearts, and that is going to be it. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Click that subscribe button if you would like to see more from me. Wooden button added there, and as you know, it's Stash Wednesday, so there'll be another layout coming soon.